Now this is grunge board, so I can be pretty aggressive getting out of it. Okay. So there's grunge. Now, different cutting pads though, yes? So, when it comes to working with cutting pads, right? Different cutting pads are going to do different things. That's the big thing. So, our first basic thing is of course going to be clear. That's just going to cut. Now, if you do a lot of folding, if you have dies, let's say you have a die like this. This is a bag die. Any die that's going to have any folds, this is called crease rule. And there's an say on the package. It's got crease rule in it. So any die that you can actually manipulate after you cut it.
Thank you, I guess.
This is actually the same kind of blade, but it doesn't have a sharp edge to it.
Okay, that works. Thank you.
What it's trying to do is actually create a piece or score. When you use this, a lot of times people try to use the die with regular cutting pads. Some things okay, but some
I'm sure you guys can do some kind of like great artwork on it.
So when you go to fold it,
Come on, be creative.
that's where this pad comes in. This pad,
I know you got it in you.
It's not sticky. It's actually like a Christmas cutting mat. It's really the best way to describe it.
Or just anything that you make from the heart. It doesn't matter what it is.
And this replaces your top pad. So we still need our clear one on the bottom. We always have that one on the bottom. But instead of a clear on the top, this. And you can see that it actually cuts into it like a cutting mat. But because it has some give to it, the blade cuts where it cuts, but presses in and creases the paper where this tissue is. This way you can fold your papers. It works like a dream. I only learned about this like a year ago. Because when these first came out, everything I was trying to cut, I'm like, there's something wrong with this die. Like, it's cutting everything. And they're like, really, it shouldn't because it's not that kind of blade. I'm like, it's totally fine. They're like, even with a crease pad? And I'm like, it's a crease pad. Like, they're like, well, it says on the front of the package. I'm like, if it didn't come in the machine, I don't know what it is. Which I think a lot of people don't know.
Right.
So once I learned, and that's why I started there, once you understand that cutting pads make things cut, the pressure, that's where I started thinking, well, what if we didn't have a cutting pad that had everything that would cut? Hence the dimensional cutting pad. New. So what this is, even though this looks so pretty when you buy it, this is designed to end up looking like this. Which freaks their freak because it's all polished and shiny and you think, this is not supposed to get marks on it. Yes, it is. And this is always going to be your top cutting pad as well. This is never going to be that bottom one. Okay? So what this is a cutting pad that has a beveled edge on each side. And this beveled edge is going to eliminate pressure from that particular area. And you think, okay, well what if I just didn't have a cutting pad there? That's how I discovered this really when I was playing around. I actually made a top cutting pad where I put two cutting pads a little bit apart and I taped it. If you have a straight line, it's going to bruise your paper. In other words, when you cut, it's going to create a line all the way through your card. And that's why we needed to create this kind of beveled dip. So here's what it does. I can go in with, let's say, a movers and shakers. Right? Take a mini die. This could be any kind of die. So this is a steel die as well, but this is a magnetic die. Because this is a magnetic die that's not in a plastic like this, you need a base tray. You need to make up that difference in your sandwich. In other words, this cannot be used by itself. It won't ever cut. It's not thick enough. So I'm going to decide where I want to create my dimension. Now for a butterfly, pretty much I want it to be like the butterfly.
This is where I'm having the problem.
All right.
Center.
Okay. So what I do at home with mine, again this is Ted's, but I'll just use it, I don't care, is I take my cutting pad and I normally go in with a Sharpie and I'm just going to draw a line. It doesn't have to be centered, I just want to see it. Okay? Then I would say, alright, I want my dimension here. See my black, like, imagine this like invisible black line. I want it where the body is. Okay? Then I can go with my paper. Or it could be a tag, it could really be whatever you want. But obviously when the paper goes on, you don't know where the die is. Smoke and mirrors. Where did it go? But now you have a line.
So simple.
Listen, but that's why you're here. You're here to learn that simple thing. So what I'm doing is I'm basically taking that indentation and lining it up with my black marks. Okay? But I got that. And this is my top cutting pad. So I always tell people, when you're using something weird, put one away. Take it out of the equation immediately, because out of habit, you're going to go, ooh, I know, yep, I'll do that. I'll put my top cutting pad, you'll shove it in the vagabond, and not good. Yeah, not good. It's the same thing when you use like a crease pad, take one out of the equation. It doesn't mean set it aside where you can still see it. Just throw it on your chair, do whatever. Because you're just out of habit. And you're like, oh, I got it. I mean, for me, it's habit. I always want to put that top one on. So this is going to go into my machine. I've got that. Make sure I'll move that over. I'm going to engage it into the machine first, because if you're using a small die, you need to make sure that the machine is going to catch it. Because see, what happens is, like, let's just say I set it there, and you go to put it in the machine. First thing this is going to want to do is push this back before it grabs.
Right.
So when I'm at home and I'm doing a card, I mean, I'll be honest, I tape this down. I take tissue tape, but most people get crabby when I'm demoing because I use tissue tape. But I use tissue tape and I'll just put a quick piece around it. So now what this is done, again, this is my cutting pad, so it's cut into it. So first you may be like, oh my gosh, something happened. No, it's a cutting pad, okay? But there you go. It's okay. See? Yeah, it's the first one that was like, this is not right. Yeah, it's totally right, but here's what we did. So now we've cut our butterfly, but because we've eliminated pressure, this would normally cut the entire shape out. This created a space. Not a bruise, a space. And now this creates dimension. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's just simple.